saying that Mike needs to turn his gain down a tiny bit. Mike doesn't know what that means.
Now I need to do work? Goodness gracious.
Also, Clues, thank you for that 17-month Prime sub. You're currently running lab, but your students are busy doing lab stuff. Oh. Hi, Clues' students.
So input sensitivity, that would be gain?
No.
Probably. Okay.
It's just the volume.
Just the volume, okay.
Yeah. Input sensitivity is the minimum gate.
Oh, I see. Let's try 65. That's probably, I don't know if that even makes a difference.
I don't know. What was it at?
70.
Yeah. I mean, I hear a slight difference, but...
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Probably fine.
Okay, so that's good enough. So here we go. Wait. We'll give it another 10 seconds. Mike is now a 10 out of 10. Mike has always been a 10 out of 10. I got a comment on the last episode earlier today that said Mike didn't... Wait, what is... crap, I already forgot what it said. It said Mike didn't grow, his beard just got longer.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm waiting for the Snyder cut of Mike.
Oh no, that would be the worst version of Mike.
The Ooey Bowl version.
That'll be
of
like
Mike?
right-wing douchebag Mike. Let's not do that. All right then. So here,
not who I'm thinking. Okay,
here we go. Ow, jam! Hello everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 614 of the Mana Pool, and I am Chewy. Hi! You might know me from such other places as also the Mana Pool, and the Mana Pool's YouTube videos, and the Mana Pool streams, and more formerly of Monday Night Magic. Mana Pool, Mana Pool, Mana Pool. Hey, look, other dorks!
hey, I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler and tangent master of the group, and you might know me from other things as... Well, if you know me from my work, you've been in trouble, and that's not a good thing, so hopefully you don't know me from work.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy, and you might know me from other episodes of the Mana Pool and other videos that Chewy has done about Hearthstone and other things, and a couple old episodes of the Card Advantage podcast. And I don't remember whether this is true, but it's possible I was on an extremely old episode of the Avant Card Show.
How could you ever forget?
It was that long ago.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And I might be on past episodes of the Mana Pool, and yeah, that's probably about about it. I say, and the Mana Pool YouTube channel whenever we do one of these episodes and everything. And that one time we did the World of Warcraft one, I was on that too. Where Chewy had played World of Warcraft for that one time. And one time only.
Yeah, never again. And people voluntarily played WoW Classic? What is wrong with you people? Anyway.
Yeah.
So, this is episode 614, as I said. And today, or possibly yesterday, but today we got the official news. Wizards of the Coast announced a thing that came out of nowhere and has definitely caused people to have, capitalize this, opinions. Trademark.
Potato head.
No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
That one
That's
too,
for
though.
another episode.
But Wizards specifically, and as far as we know, Wizards of the Coast does not make Potato Head
Accurate.
yet.
Yet. So I don't even know how to do this. So, okay, let's just get to it. There's an article on the mothership called Magic's Voyages to Universes Beyond. And that's because there's a new thing called Universes Beyond. That's going to be Magic, but with other branded things on it. Sort of like The Walking Dead, which is being retroactively added to the Universes Beyond label or imprint or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I love Imprint. They need to bring it back.
No, not that one.
Oh,
But
Bad Brian, bad.
like, okay, so it said the second paragraph. Among those worlds are the expansive universes of Warhammer 40,000 and the Lord of the Rings. Talk about just dropping a bomb on someone's head in the second paragraph.
Mhm.
Like, buh. And this... Okay, let's get all the factual stuff out of the way first. Let's see. It's a brand within Magic the Gathering, existing in addition to and alongside our existing line of products. Yep. It says... Hang on. This is essentially an outreach thing, a way to get other people that aren't playing Magic interested in Magic, and hopefully hook them so that they play Magic and not just Universes Beyond Magic. Because, what is it Bill said earlier? It looks like Wizards is realizing that they are a... Oh, how did he put it? A gaming... platform instead of a game, or what? Damn it, I forget how Bill put it.
that's actually pretty. That's pretty. So that's an interesting way to look at it. Is Magic as less of a specific game and more of a format of games?
Yeah, that reminds me. Saying it that way immediately, of course, makes me think of Wizards opening up the D20 system to whoever wanted to do games for it, rather than just restricting it to Dungeons
Here we
and
go.
Dragons.
He said, I'm getting the impression they've realized that they're a game system more so than an intellectual property.
Okay, that's pretty apt.
Yeah, like, as Brian pointed out in the pre-show odds and ends, we have been doing this for years with our, hey, what if we took, they were video game characters and turned them into Magic cards, or movie characters, or whatever. We've literally had this conversation once a year or so for years. But that was always just silly nonsense.
Right.
And now it's very much a possibility. So, let's see here. It says, we can't answer everything you may be asking, but we're thrilled to set the table on a number of topics today. So, they're going to be branded slightly differently. The frame will be distinct, and cards will have a holofoil stamp that, okay, it was pointed out in the Manapool Discord. This image was posted, and I was doing other stuff on this screen, and I glanced over, and I saw that Mycroft posted it, and there was this image, and I went, why did Mycroft post a pair of Magic underwear? And he said...
oh, now I can't not see it.
Yeah!
Oh.
And I said, why did he post Magic underwear? And his post said, is it just me, or does the Universes Beyond logo look like underwear? And I went... Because doesn't this look like something that a wrestler would wear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that made me happy and terrified. But anyway, so yeah, the Secret Lair Walking Dead cards is grandfathered into Universes Beyond. Here we go. Universes Beyond products will generally be sold in all Magic channels. These will not be strictly Secret Lair products. Thank God. And it says Warhammer 40,000 Commander decks, for example, will be available everywhere we currently sell Commander decks.
Ooh.
So Warhammer 40k is getting Commander decks, which is
I'd buy those.
fascinating. It says, let's see here. We may occasionally do associated Secret Lair products related to the main release, like the Secret Lair Godzilla Lands when Ikoria Lair of Behemoths came out. Okay. Of course, because they have to milk Secret Lairs for all they can, because that's their business policy now, so that's fine. As much as I hate it, that's just the way it is now. There will also be the occasional standalone product like The Walking Dead, but the intention is to typically make Universes Beyond as available as any other Magic product. You know, except for the ones that prey on FOMO. That said, Universe Beyond cards will not be standard legal. Ding! That's important!
It is. And you know what? As much as I enjoy standard, I'd much rather they not feel confined. Like, if they're going to make the One Ring, they shouldn't have to worry about how the One Ring balances out with cards from, you know, Kaldheim.
Exactly.
Turns out it's broken.
Now, there was a Reddit post that had a screenshot from a Discord somewhere that claims that Ian Dixon, who works for Magic, said there that they also won't be modern legal. But that's literally a screenshot from a from a Discord. So as of right now, that's just hearsay and is non-verifiable unless someone
that makes
on Twitter has said it.
That's what I would have assumed, because usually it's just, normal booster set releases that go into standard and modern, and anything else is just legacy vintage.
Yeah. But the fact that here it just says not standard legal means that's all we can reliably say.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't be modern legal because things like this usually aren't. But again, that's just an assumption. Excuse me, I'm shifting into Monday Night Magic mode here, where we try real hard to specify what is actual fact and what is not.
Mm-hmm.
Which we do too, but now I'm leaning hard on it. Let's see here. It says nothing much is changing with our normal cadence of releases for standard. This is purely a cool thing we're doing in addition to all the cool things we're already doing. It also says that it's worth noting that the upcoming Magic set Adventures in Forgotten Realms is not Universes Beyond. That's gonna partially because it's standard legal, I'm sure. Isn't it? Isn't that a standard set?
It is
Yeah,
a standard set.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, and then they go even further and say, as to whether the Forgotten Realms are now canonically part of Magic's multiverse, for now the answer is no. What?
Yeah, I don't
okay,
know.
this is the
Why they went there?
This is the part where they start to go off the rails for me, because I'm like, but it is a standard set,
And it's Magic's multiverse.
and you've already had expansions in D&D, like you've had sets in D&D that are based on Magic planes. I just I'm not trying to be like pushing this, but I feel like this is a really weird distinction to make. So now we're going to have a standard legal set in a setting
That's not
and
canon.
not like that's not canon. And it's not like the Godzilla stuff where the cards are there, but they're just, kind of reskinned, so to speak. This is an actual standard set. They're going to choose. So when I view this announcement, I tend to look at it fairly positively, because there's a whole bunch of fun stuff you can do with this. But it does start to feel a little bit like Magic now in your Snickers, Magic on your feet, shoes, which I think is already a thing.
Yeah, they did that
So,
at least once.
And it just, like, at what point...
Magic now in your Jones soda.
And at what point does it just start to feel like it's not even a platform anymore, but just, I hate to use the word sellout, but like, does it lose some of its uniqueness? And I don't know that I have an answer to that. And I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper, because I think it can be a lot of things to a lot of different people. I just get very wary of flavor of the month. You know what I mean? So when I see, yes, we're going to have this set. Yes, it'll be standard legal. No, it's not canon. I'm like, what, does Jace just wake up at the end of the story and go like, that was weird?
Oh my god, they pulled a Newhart.
So
that's a reference that not everyone's gonna get, but you know what? It's funny. So screw you.
Worth.
So that's perhaps one of the only things giving me pause about this. Prove me wrong, Wizards. Come on, do a quality job with this.
And there's a link to the Magic Jones soda with a question. This magic soda? Yes, this magic soda. What other Magic Jones soda was there?
I think the point being, yeah, we've already seen it. Like, it's not even a joke. It's an actual thing. Just in case people weren't aware of that.
I ordered myself a case of it back in the day.
Yeah, this was Jones Planeswalker soda, which I still see Jones soda at the grocery store every once in a while, and I have still not the Planeswalker soda, obviously, because that was a limited time thing. But like, I still haven't ever bought any probably because of the Magic thing. I'm like, you know what? No. If I'm gonna buy little bottles of something carbonated, I'm gonna buy some IBC root beer. Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag IBC sponsor us. I will gladly hawk your delicious, delicious drink. Anyway. So, yeah. The, Is that everything? I think that's everything.
I think that is.
So that's the facts. But right now, what we know is we're getting Warhammer 40,000 Commander decks, and apparently the Lord of the Rings is a full expansion. It doesn't say that here, but it said that in the, what's the word? The investors call, I think, that happened either earlier today or yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But, so the reaction to this has been, of course, both positive and negative. I figure we should get into some of that.
Yep.
The positive is this is totally awesome. Mm-hmm. Sort of like a mic deck. You know, it might not win, but it's awesome. And I don't think, everyone has done wouldn't it be neat if such was a Magic card? And that's why alters are a thing, is because, it would be really cool if we could put Wolverine on this Force of Will. Mm. And it turns out, yeah, that was pretty cool. How about that?
But Force of Will?
It's because of the pose on the art.
Yes, I have to think about that.
But
Wolverine's looking at you like, I'm gonna counter your square, your spell, bub. And like, we're gonna talk about why you shouldn't cast that spell and have a nice discussion. And look at my claws. I don't know.
That is exactly how that would go down too. Not sure that's the best idea, bub. Oh, why? Well, let me spell it out for you very politely. Oh, you're right. Well, maybe I won't cast this spell.
See? And now we all grow as people. Berserker rage.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, the Johnny in me, the creative part of me, is just like, yes. I loved playing the Lord of the Rings game that Decipher put out many, many years ago. Before I ever played Magic the Gathering, I played Star Wars and I played Lord of the Rings by the card game company Decipher, and they were pretty well done. So taking something like that here and fitting it into the Magic system, because one of the things about Magic is that it does. I think I explained it to someone that was considering playing. This was a long time ago, but the way I put it was Magic itself is actually not a super complicated system. It's the individual cards that can make it more complicated, but it's that simplicity that you can build on that makes it very elegant. So, you can almost use a card game like Lord of the Rings as a comparison, what Decipher put out, and then be like, what if that worked? What if it didn't? And how would you translate that to Magic? In the game, one of the things that it did was it tried to create that sense of urgency, that sense of progression that the movies and the books originally relied on. It's all about taking the ring from point A to point, X. And so you actually had to have a character carry a ring, and as you went further down the path that you created by playing location cards, the enemies would get stronger potentially, and it would be riskier. So you had that growing escalation. Magic already has a built-in sense of escalation with the mana system. The reason why you're not, unless you're playing an unfair deck, the reason you're not allowed to, play your Emrakul on turn 1 is because of how mana works. You have things that will break that in eternal formats, and that's exactly why they work the way they do, is to get around that sort of system. But most of the time, that's not how it works, So you already have that sense of progression. And I wonder if you could translate that into something. Again, you're still playing a game of Magic. The point is not to create a brand new game, right? Otherwise, Wizards would be like announcing our Lord of the Rings game. This is Magic starring Lord of the Rings. You understand? You understand the difference that we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Did I lose anybody? I feel like I was going on a little bit there.
Yeah, I was trying to figure. You lost me at the beginning, but then you picked me back up.
Okay, Mike.
You were like, we're trying to take the Decipher game and apply its systems to Magic, and I went, huh?
No, I was trying to use a compare contrast system. Mike, what would be something? You don't have to give me the whole game, but what would be something you would expect from the Lord of the Rings expansion?
Pippin is an idiot.
Yeah, part of that. Equipment for the special weapons and items people carry around, like the One Ring and Clam Drink, stuff like that.
Oh man, I can't wait to see what Orcris the Foehammer does.
That'd be pretty cool.
Or was Glamdring the Foehammer? Oh crap! Now I gotta look it up.
No,
I'm not sure.
No, I'm pretty sure. Well,
No, Glamdring was the Foehammer. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Get your swords right.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
And there'd be a Balrog and
Balrog.
Yeah.
What about a Shelob? Just for Chewie.
There'd be a Shelob, yes, just for Chewie.
No.
Bill, we'd have to have Bill.
Yeah, we could totally put Bill in the Lord of the Rings Magic. Bill's in the chat for anyone listening later going, who? What?
Do we?
Oh, you mean Bill the Pony?
Yes, Bill.
Yeah.
I thought you, because Squee popped up in chat. I thought you...
No, I thought you were just making a second level joke about that.
No, I forgot about Bill the Pony completely. The question is, will they include Tom Bombadil, or will they make the
That's-
right choice
so-
and
No.
don't?
So that's what I was going to ask. But I mean, this is based on the books, not necessarily on the movies. So there's that potential.
Mycroft
is
said
not a
Tom
bad-
Bombadil, and nobody knows why he's there either.
He's not a bad character. He did not fit into the movies, so I'm not saying he should have been included.
Someone
But
asked Tolkien about him, about the Tom Bombadil section of the book. It's like, it seems kind of pointless. Why was it there? And his response was basically, just shut up, leave me alone.
I mean, it's filling out the world. I admit I was a bit confused, and I think it's a little distracting when you have somebody that can like put on the ring and not go crazy. But you can it's his world. You can do that. If you want to have that part of the lore, then go right ahead. So anybody,
I mean, they did address that at least. Frodo asked him about it, and Gandalf was like, nah, he'd probably just lose it somewhere.
yeah.
Well,
That's
like how,
true. He did say that.
He does have there is a function to him, and I don't want to go well into it because, spoiler alert on a book that's like 50 years old and everything, but
It's way older than that, bro, because I'm
Yeah.
40 and so are you.
dude, yeah, no, like if you got something to say, just say it.
but like the Witch King can only be killed by a blade from the black tombs and everything, and Tom Bombadil saved them from it. So the whole reason why the Witch King was killed was because Mary had a blade from when they were captured by them, and Tom saved them. So Tom had a function. Really roundabout in the story.
I
recently
personally,
listened to the audiobook, so yeah.
I think Goldberry should slit his throat while he slumbers.
Because of that annoying song he sings. Dum bum ba doo.
So
Anyway.
yeah. Well, but then you have a choice on whether or not to include these characters at least. So you don't have to feel like I have to or I don't. And it could do a decent amount of world building. Mike mentioned the equipment. Shards of Narsil can be sacked for what does Aragorn rename it?
Andulian?
I don't
Yeah,
actually
that
Is
thing.
it best?
Oh, dude, Narsil Reforged would be Enduril, Flame of the West. There we go.
That yes, thank you.
Narsil Reforged could totally be like a big, awesome, epic spell.
Oh,
Not
There you
epic, the
or a
mechanic,
quest
but
or a saga.
Oh, a saga, yes. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that they have, and Mark Rosewater actually. Someone asked the question after Kaldheim. Are we going to see sagas more often? He said only when it feels appropriate. So it's not going to be every set, but I still love sagas just as a storytelling mechanic, and doing something
With
like
as many.
Narsil. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just with as many stories that people like to tell in Lord of the Rings books and the related books about Middle Earth. Yeah, it's got to be something.
Oh yeah.
I personally feel that if they do a Lord of the Rings and they're wanting to chock it full of stuff, it's going to end up feeling like a Kamigawa block, where it's over half the cards are legendary.
I'm cool with that.
I'm just saying, if we're going with this, like we've got there's so many named characters in the book who are really cool, who would make really cool cards. It would end up being a Kamigawa block, where half the creatures are legendary.
Lots of
threaten me with
sets
a-
these days are very close to Kamigawa blocks because they've ramped up the number of legendary creatures
Feels like that.
heavily over in the years since Kamigawa happened.
And anyway, Dirk threatened me with a good time.
Yeah, don't throw me in the briar patch.
Or under Old Man Willow.
I understood that reference.
This man is playing Gataga.
But you thought we wouldn't see.
But we did.
But yeah, there's so many characters and story moments and equipment and just stuff. Legendary lands? Oh my god. Even something stupid like common creatures could totally be something recognizable.
Like Bill the Pony.
Exactly. Here's a pack horse.
I honestly think Lord of the Rings would make for a great um, refresh of Planechase.
Huh.
I don't. What?
Well, basically, are you talking about like using the locations of
The
Middle Earth?
locations and having decks with Planechase in them, so you could have, like, again, a set of 5 where one could be um, these are the Hobbit cards, and then these would be the Gondor, these would be the
Mm-hmm.
elves, these would be the dwarves, these would be, and but have it have maybe a combination of those, and then a combination of the bad guys mixed in with it. So you've got Gondor and the orcs, and then the hobbits and the Nazgul mixed in, like, as a deck, or you again, like, in terms of color, the color pie and how it's
Are
split up.
Okay, so I'm trying to follow you, but I thought you were talking about Plane Chase.
Well, yeah, that
So,
have that as, because if you're gonna have the deck, having those iconic locations would also ramp up the randomness and the I guess add a level of coolness or um, enjoyment to the story, to the game as well, or a bit of randomness to it. Because I'm just thinking, what could Wizard do with this potentially? And my thought was to Planechase in terms of decks.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but then you're talking about the colors, and so
Well, yeah, yeah.
I I feel like I'm losing you a little bit. Yeah, are you talking about using the locations from the
Yes.
books
As the
as
planes,
Location of the books for
as
Planechase.
planes? Okay,
and then
okay.
building theme decks to go with them, just like the original plane chase, was what he
Right.
was going into with all the different colors and factions and whatnot.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like,
Remember,
but
plane
you
chase
don't.
wasn't just the planes; there were decks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually do
They
forget
were
that
in the deck.
sometimes
Yeah.
because we usually took the planes and then, you know,
Played
used
our
our
own
own
deck from.
decks. Right.
Exactly.
So that's why I was confused. Yes. So thank you.
Oh, while we're on obscure, weird magic things from the past, you know what would be really cool? You
Go
could
ahead.
have
Uncle
Sauron
Listfin.
as the arch enemy.
Yeah, that
Oh,
would be cool.
okay. So you could do one with Sauron. You could also do one with like Smog or something as well, kind of
Yeah.
going back a little bit.
Saruman. Uh,
Yeah, you run out of bad guys quick.
well, if you're using the Hobbit movies and everything, you'd have Gothmog in there. But in reality, we wouldn't use Gothmog. We could use Morgoth, Sauron, uh, Smog. Yeah, there's a bunch of them in there that you could use. You could use the Balrog. Blah 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 blah.
This is just great because I feel like so inspired by this. What if the ring? So what if the ring was a really cheap artifact that had some sort of like win condition on it, but while you have it, your creatures occasionally go over to the other side. It's like a self-imposed kind of threaten effect.
Well, along that line, you know how if you get 10 poison counters, you lose the game. What
No, you
if you
don't.
had to build up, uh, going all the way around? If you could control the ring back to your turn, you earned uh, a certain number of tokens, or what is it, the things
Oh yeah, the
that you
things.
yeah, you
I'm
know
not
the
sh-
things, poison
Corruption
counters. There we go. Like ring power counters or something. And once you get an X number of them, you win the game.
Oh,
But if you lose control of it, if it doesn't come around back to your turn, and there are ways that you can steal the ring, and maybe yet all that kind of stuff, where the ring just keeps losing who controls it.
I mean,
Sort of
the
like a
ring,
conspiracy.
the ring does have a mind of its own. So it abandoned Gollum at one point. So you're like, this is great. I'm going to win the game. And the ring is like, peace. And you're like, wait, no, come back.
Well, like in conspiracy, you lose control of the different things if the player gets damaged.
Well, you
but yeah,
stop
when
being the
you're the
monarch.
monarch.
There you go. The ring would be considered like equivalent of monarch. I'm going, what was it in conspiracy that if something happens, you lost control or whatnot? But monarch, the ring being the equivalent of being a monarch.
The ring is the monarch.
hmm So if it comes around to your turn, you get a token, and if you get X number of counters, then you win the game. And then you may use it to play Planechase with it. And then you you just kind of cursing at yourself, going, "Yeah, whose bright idea was this one?"
Mine. So we've talked a lot about Lord of the Rings because it is a rich, vibrant idea, and I don't know that it's one. First of all, they've said that it's going to happen, and it's also one that I don't think we have actually covered on our "What if X was a magic card or magic set." Um,
We also know
but
more about it than Warhammer 40,000.
yeah, I don't really know anything about Warhammer, like at all. Is it like BattleTech?
Not
Kind of.
really. If it's
It's like
there's a lot of factions. There's actually a lot of human factions. It takes place in the far off future, and there is a lot of just it's just nonstop fighting and war. And there is magic. There's a lot of technology. There's a lot of yeah.
But it's
It's a
but it's
very
not
it has a
BattleTech.
yeah, no,
huge
it's
rich
not
lore
BattleTech.
attached to it. It's just that we're not privy to it
Yeah, it's
because
like
it's just you have to. There's a steep learning curve getting into that universe.
yeah, like Warhammer, the Warhammer setting, the Warhammer fantasy setting, you would find it really close to the World of Warcraft setting. Warhammer 40K is that set like literally 40,000 years in the future, with all the hyped up technology and space travel
Giant warships.
and giant warships and everything. And the tag is, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. So it's that.
The only thing I know about
Yeah.
Warhammer 40K is that apparently the orcs, which is I believe spelled with a K, their technology works on a weird form of belief magic. Like if they believe that painting their vehicle red makes it go faster, then it does.
Yeah, and I think like they're basically plants or funguses with this latent psychic ability that makes their stupid inventions work.
And that's the only thing I know about Warhammer 40K. And Cap told me that, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to know anymore. I'm good now. That's the best.
The Templin Institute has a whole bunch of videos that they did on that, and that's the only reason why I know anything about that universe. So if you're interested in just knowing kind of what's going on, the Templin Institute posted a bunch of videos about it.
Yeah, and like if they didn't already use the heavy metal advertising angle for Kaldheim, they definitely would have used it for Warhammer 40K.
Yeah. Like you can go, there's hyperspace and everything, and Earth is sort of the center of it, but there's multiple human factions. Some are just some are like, okay, I can take that, and there's some that are just, wow, you need to dial that back. And there are fortress worlds where I mean, Earth's an example of a fortress world where it's just there's small relic remnants of Earth, but really Earth is just essentially it's skyscraper high, but bristling with guns and tanks and artillery and everything else point at the sky. And if you come out of the sky and you're not part of their group, you're getting blasted. And that's a lot of what the game is, or what a lot of the universe.
So the Jetsons, but edgelord.
Yeah, the Jetsons, but Terminator, like
Yo!
bad future Terminator.
Okay. You know,
And
I could get down with that crossover. So.
And there is sort of a big bad guy in it, or not a big bad guy, a big bad group that's part of it that essentially is just eating everything. And sort of
Galactus
destroying.
style.
Yeah, I'm like the description I got was think more like the Swarm from StarCraft, except that it's worse.
Oh, the Tyranids.
Mm-hmm. Like it's something that's just full of chaos, and the whole point is that they go out of their way to just wreak havoc, and then when there's havoc, they just kind of swoop in and take everybody out, and then they just absorb everything.
I thought the Tyranids were a third. So when you say chaos, you just mean like regular chaos, not capital C chaos, because that's one of the factions, chaos in Warhammer 40,000. The Tyranids are something else.
All I know is that it's some sort of like they're from a chaos universe that's sort of invading that universe.
Yeah, that's the actual chaos faction. I think the Tyranids are something different.
Okay. See, this is
you have
how
the
much
chaos
we don't know about
gods.
this.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike knows a lot more about this than I do.
Yeah, most of it is like half-remembered stuff from middle school and high school.
My recollection of it is that they sold all these big, big kits that you could paint like BattleTech ones and everything, except they were expensive. And if you wanted to actually be able to play, you had to buy like $500 worth of these kits to make an army.
It's expensive.
So again,
because you had to have like the specific model for the unit you wanted to field.
Right.
I mean, if you were just playing with your friends, whatever. But if you wanted to play in sanctioned events, you had to have the model.
So does that mean they're going to have cards that you have to paint first?
Yes.
Yeah. You got to take them down to your local friendly altar artist and get them all fixed up.
That costs money. Just do it yourself.
One of my friends in high school made a decent amount of money on the side as a side hustle for many years, painting miniatures for other people.
Yeah, it's if you can do it, it's it's good work.
He was really good at it too.
And the games of Magic will take 4 hours to set up.
Is it gonna be a point system or just a buy?
Damn it, Al.
Anything else you guys either would like to see, you think would be interesting? I mentioned Galactus before. What about Marvel? And I don't just mean like the Marvel universe, but what about Marvel? Or if you want to take it with DC, I mean,
I think in the long run,
those are not the same thing. So
yeah.
No,
I could imagine them potentially acquiring DC and getting them involved. I seriously doubt any Disney property would go 6 feet near this, just because they are in their own universe, worrying about their own thing.
No, dude, Disney stuff has been all over Fortnite.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even.
The mouse is not
Fortnite,
afraid of licensing out its
stuff to
its
other
properties
ones
if it's going to make
off
money.
it. Yeah, I guess that's true.
How about a Kingdom Hearts release for Magic?
Okay,
I
now
think
I'm gonna
that'd
have
be
to come
cool.
to your house and
Okay.
punch you in the teeth.
Why? I want to go over and I'll protect him from you because, well, maybe I won't drive that far. I'll just be
Okay,
like,
not in the
no,
teeth, because that would
don't
hurt us
do
both.
that. I mean, the thought excites me and scares me at the same time. But yeah, I would get down with that.
I honestly think if there was going to be a Kingdom Hearts card and everything, it'd be part of that Final Fantasy card game
Mm-hmm.
before it would become a Magic one.
You're being too realistic. We're having a little bit of fun
Yeah,
here.
we're talking about magic here, Dirk.
Okay, fine.
Like,
Bill pointed out in the chat that Kingdom Hearts actually would be Planechase because the characters
have
in
all
Kingdom
those
Hearts are already
worlds.
planeswalkers.
I mean,
Yeah.
straight off the bat, if you before you even jump into the Disney worlds, which obviously is a big thing right there, but even if you just went with some of the more unique stuff to the games, they are literally a series of interconnected worlds. So you have, jumping from Hollow Bastion to the world to
Wait,
Twilight Town,
Brian, you
Traverse
fuzzed out.
Town,
Jumping from Hollow Bastion to what?
to I think the world that never was. The having nobodies as like colorless creatures, not artifact creatures, but colorless creatures like the Eldrazi. Um, oh dear Lord, you may have started something here. Somebody else say something for a second. Who?
Tron.
Potato Head.
I hate you.
Just wait till you get your gummy weather light. Yeah. uh, yeah, I see one or two of the if there's a crossover, like one or two of the planeswalkers showing up, and maybe somebody, whether it's Chandra or Liliana, maybe points out to Sora, you're walking around with an anthropomorphic dog and duck, and nobody questions this, and he's like, never occurred to me before.
And
Because
Sora
no
goes,
matter,
well, your hair's on fire.
and she's like, good point.
And a Johnny standing there like, dude, I can hear you.
I'm right here.
Fair point. But I mean, you've got Keyblades because back in the original one there was one, but it's kind of like the Jedi, where in the original trilogy there's like two Jedi tops, and then prequels happen. And it's like they're everywhere. So, and in Kingdom Hearts, in the first one, they're like it's the Keyblade, and then later on they're like you
It's
what
the Keyblade.
you don't
That's right
Keyblade.
here.
you don't have a Keyblade. Come on.
I got this
So-
one out of a pack of Cracker Jacks. What are you talking about? I got nothing. One of the alternate Soras could be Lion King Sora where he's got his Keyblade in his mouth. Because why not?
I mean, well, there are a bunch of ways most of the reskins of Sora don't functionally change how it works, but you can have some fun with that. Yeah, I mean, I think the concept is really cool, but I have to spend some time actually brainstorming like mechanics and stuff. So off the top of my head, I think I'm good.
So something that occurred to me that we'll never see, but would be really funny, would be Blizzard properties crossed over with Magic.
I had so Dirk said something about the Swarm from StarCraft, and I'm like, yeah. And of course, with Hearthstone, they have no incentive. But Diablo in Magic: The Gathering.
Yeah.
That would be right up there in Innistrad in terms of things that you could do.
We would have a return of the good old days when parents were scared of Magic because of
All the
of
satanic and
Satanic
pentagrams.
panic. Yeah.
Yeah, because you'd actually have hell. So little mommy is buying little Timmy the Planechase or the planeswalker deck for Diablo, and he's like, "Mommy, for Christmas I want the hell pack." So
want the was it the demon hunter commander deck
Yeah.
or something like that. I want the barbarian commander deck.
I was always drawn to the wizard. I would much rather just point at things from a safe distance away and be like Frostbolt like a million times.
Nah, you got to get up in their faces. It's much better that way.
When you've actually unlocked the secret cow level and you're hitting them with like a blizzard and all the move, like if there's a million moves all at once, it's hilarious. So maybe if I ever actually play an RPG with you guys, I'll let everybody else be the tank and I'll just be the pew 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 at the back, because that's where I'm drawn to, I think. In Diablo 3, I did play a couple different classes, but I was never one to be like actually expose myself to getting hurt, because then you might die.
Oh, you got to get right in there. I died a lot.
That explains some things.
Oh my god.
Like what? I know I was the wizard in now I have to go find what all the classes were.
If we have a StarCraft game, is there a counter spell named "We need more Vespene gas"? Or you must construct additional
I was gonna
pylons.
say, yeah, construct additional pylons would totally be some kind of counterspell.
Oh, dude, maybe it would be like what was the limited resources thing where like nobody can have more than 5 lands or anything? That obnoxious thing, or like a land tax effect. The Protoss are basically white blue, right? And the Zerg are super green because of their just swarminess and their
The
instinctiveness
Zerg
and
would
their
have to
ability.
be green red
Green red. I
That
mean, they
sounds
can
right.
be instinctive.
because they grow fast, but they're also very aggressive, and red is very aggressive.
Maybe, okay, so in the lore, I never played StarCraft 2 all the way through, but in the lore, the founders or whatever made the Protoss to be like one half of the equation and then the Zerg to be the other half. So what if you had the Protoss as blue white and then the Zerg as what Jund, right? Green, red, black. And then the humans are the Terrans are Terrans. They can be whatever.
They can just any color they want to be.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Hey, Dirk,
Si, senor.
you need more Vespene gas.
Well, I
Okay,
was looking at the Diablo 3 and I was like, yeah, I beat it on with the wizard. That's what I was.
Excuse me.
I was gonna do a Crusader,
Ow.
but that came out after I bit. That came out later.
I didn't realize you'd only played it through it with one character.
Yeah.
I did.
Mike's
had
like,
other
why
games I
aren't
was
you a
trying to
weird
play,
obsessive
too."
like I am?
I wasn't being obsessive. Just yeah, I went through it with every class, but I'm not obsessive.
With each gender.
I think I
Not
went through it on 2 difficulties. I went through it on like normal and then hard, and because the story was the same at that point, I felt like, okay, I'm good. Because I know for different people there's different priorities, but for a lot of games, if once I've done the story, I'm good until it's been X number of months, years, and I want to do it again, like most Final Fantasies, where I want to see the story again. But when I've gotten to the end of the story, I do not feel an immediate urge to be like, got to do all this again.
Yeah.
Some exceptions.
I unfortunately, and again, college sort of did me in playing Diablo 2. And I played it, and then you had hard mode, and I played that through as well. And unfortunately, doing that over and over and over again just sort of made me go, you know what, I'm kind of good. I'm and though Diablo 3 is really good and really fun, I play through and I'm going, okay, there's other ones I want to play now.
I just had a thought of a red aggro deck named Zergling Rush, and it breaks the meta, and they have to like ban half the cards.
Well, what would happen is that there'd be one that says, you know, like making a Zergling, and it would be one that makes two tokens, two Zerg tokens, because anytime you make a Zergling, it always makes an extra. So if you
He's not wrong.
yeah, so if you make a Zergling, it always makes two. So that way again, it would be sort of like making the was it like the elf deck or a soldier deck where you could have sort of like a white weenie mass aggro deck. That would sort of be like a Zerg deck, but you could always update it with stronger cards and all that. That would you have Hydralisks and the Mutalisks and the Queen and all that.
I mean, Zerg are generally, with some exceptions, Zerg are very much about swarming the opponent, throwing away a lot of their stuff as they continue to upgrade. So they would tend to probably go wide versus big, at least until you get to like the Ultralisk.
Well, that's a good interesting thing is that because they do evolutions, there could be cards where there could be a ability where you can the Zerg have the option, sort of like with the commands, where you can choose this or choose that.
Oh,
And
oh, like or I know you're talking about the commands, like the modal spells, but what were the ones that were the dragon cards in Fate
The
Reforged, where
sieges?
yes, where it comes on, it's an enchantment Dirk, and it comes onto the battlefield, and as it enters the battlefield, you choose the mode. So it would either be like choose one, either all your Zerg get +1/+0, or all your Zerg get +0/+1, and you choose the evolution. Can they
well, that's what I was
burrow?
thinking is that you've got the Hydralisk, and you could choose either to make it a lurker or whatever the other one was, where like a tentacle shoots up out of the ground and kills one thing, whereas the lurkers killed like mass killing in a straight line. So you could choose to evolve it as one or as the other.
Okay, well, now you're talking about evolving specific creatures. Like when this
Right.
creature comes onto the battlefield, it enters either with a reach counter or a first strike counter. Now that we have counters for abilities, so
Right.
that could be doable. You start once you start in like doing that with individual creatures, you get some complexity creep. But everybody plays arena these days anyway, right? So let the computer do it for you.
There you go.
Um, what if you could have non-flying Zerg creatures burrow, and it's almost like a reverse morph where they flip upside down. But it's just a thought. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting to think of this stuff.
Or with the morph ones, or like with the morph and everything, again, like with the creature evolutions, that they're two-sided cards and you could play one side or the other.
So like a modal double face card.
Right. There you go.
Look at y'all using modern technology to figure this crap out.
Yeah, almost like, again, there's a very elegant system in here with a lot of different possibilities.
I just want to, when I said Blizzard properties, I just want to see like Hearthstone characters in Magic.
I think that's fine. It's just that with Hearthstone, like most of the work is already done. Like I'm like, okay, what would Leroy Jenkins look like? And in my head, it's the Hearthstone Leroy Jenkins,
Yeah,
or
it's
it's like
ball
a ball
lightning that
lightning.
makes some
Yeah,
whelps for your opponent. Yeah.
yeah, yep.
I really like the idea of playing Jiraxis and then somehow using Jiraxis to kill my opponent's Gul'dan. That just makes me, that gives me a warm and fuzzy.
You face Jiraxis. Greetings. Bah!
Jiraxis. You face Jiraxis. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Um,
Jiraxis got reworked. Is getting reworked in the new course. Also, the other thing that happened today, chat and listeners, the Hearthstone core set got revealed. All of it that we talked about a couple weeks ago. But we're not going to talk about that. But Jiraxis is a hero card now. So that's cool. Anyway. Keep going. Okay, or I'll keep going.
I mean, I enjoy Hearthstone. I actually haven't played it in a while, but I don't know. I never played WoW. I never let myself, because I'm afraid if I did, I know my limits. I played Everquest in college, and the only thing that stopped me from playing anymore is that the expansion came out and my computer couldn't handle it, and that may have been for the best. So,
excuse me.
there's always Squaresoft games, and of course the Final Fantasy series comes to mind. But how much would you love to see Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross? Maybe more Trigger than Cross, but dudes with swords, robots, and things that aren't from the future, like dudes with older swords.
And a frog who has
yes,
very, very proper diction.
it's true. And dinosaurs. I mean, come on. I guess the only problem with Chrono Trigger is that it touches on so much stuff. It's like 5 sets kind of smushed together.
I mean, I'm cool with that.
But hey, if we're picturing this as a limited release product, because like they've said, the Warhammer stuff's gonna be Commander, right? But what was it? It's gonna be the set.
Lord of the Rings is apparently a full set.
It's apparently a full set, so you can do whatever. So maybe this is something that's a little more segmented. So you can do. I'm not a big fan of the secret layer drops or whatever, but you could do more of a limited, like buy the cards that go to the prehistory, buy the cards that go to this age. My only issue with that is that it kind of limits what those cards can be, but you just pick what you think are the ones that are the most interesting. So yeah, I love me some Chrono Trigger. Not just because I like it doesn't mean everything translates terribly well to a card game. If you do this, do you take the Yawgmoth approach to Lavos, where it's actually so big it doesn't actually get a card? Because I feel like it's almost like Okagachi. The minute you make a Lavos card, is it not doomed to be underwhelming just because it can't be big enough? Because if it doesn't blow up the world, then what the heck, man? That's literally what it does. Read the description on the box. 1 Lavos equals pew. I'm saying pew a lot this time.
You're
somebody else say something.
You're a weird guy.
I am.
Going back to your Chrono Trigger being too many worlds, dude, Kaldheim is how many different realms in one set?
That's true, but they have a lot of they do have a lot of common things. Chrono Trigger, those time periods, they have some common elements, but they are very distinct. That's how you can kind of tell.
Also,
you step out of that.
There's like very little content in each of those worlds. Like if you really think about it,
yeah,
each one there's not much going on there. So I don't think that Chrono Trigger is really a good, like, okay, let's do something weird and modular where you can only buy only certain part. No, Chrono Trigger's not that complex. It's like a 20-hour JRPG. That's like nothing.
Right. No, you're absolutely correct. It's one of those things where I didn't even realize how short it was until I replayed it a while ago. But it's short on purpose.
Yeah,
You're supposed to play it more than once. So, which I don't know that alternate endings really translates to a Magic game. This time Chewie won. So
Yay!
roll the credits.
This is the bad end.
Turns out Brian
Dinosaurs
died.
take over the world. Ah, piss.
Everybody gets to play a post-game card. What the?
If I remember correctly, that's a thing that Scott and I did years ago, was actually get a checklist and go through and beat Chrono Trigger at all the different points where you can beat Chrono Trigger. Once we got New Game Plus, so that we could see all the alternate endings. And most of the alternate endings, there's like a little difference here or a tiny difference there.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun to play. It did not feel like a slog to do it again. And not to mention, while this does not translate to the card game at all, but the music was so great that I would look forward to going back to like the Deep Ocean Palace just to get to that track again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what I'm doing after the show. So
all right, what other properties could we do as a Magic something?
Yeah, so we talked about Blizzard, and
they could do a universe. What's it called? Universes Beyond. Is that right? I clicked away from it.
Yeah, Universes Beyond.
Yeah, they could do a Universes Beyond themed holiday gift box, but I don't know what the property would be.
The Grinch.
That'd be
Or Dr. Seuss. Actually, the Grinch is kind of the only Dr. Seuss Christmas one, isn't it?
Think of it sort of maybe being an unset.
Well, that's because Dr. Seuss feels like an unset, like through and through.
Mm-hmm. We got a suggestion in the chat: Will Ferrell's Elf.
Huh.
The only potential issue I see with Christmas is you have to keep it to the secular stuff, because otherwise you start getting into really potentially problematic depictions and things like that. Next thing you know, we have politicians saying, Magic the Gathering put out a Christmas set, but there's no depictions of our Lord and Savior. And I'm like, oh my God. Wait, no, that's not the point. No, but there's tons of stuff when it comes to Santa. Ooh, you could do Christmas carols as sagas.
Oh, you could do a dual decks of Christmas Carol, the story of Scrooge versus spirits. I like this plan. I'm excited to be. It would have treasure tokens.
The point of the story is to try to die alone and wealthy.
Yeah. Planeswalker Pat popped up in the chat and says, "I'd love to see, but doubt it would happen." Zelda set. Yeah, Nintendo property would be utterly impossible, but
wouldn't it be great?
But it would be so great. Yeah.
I mean, it's adventure themed. They've had multiple settings, even though it's Hyrule. Hyrule looks different literally every time, except for, A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds, but that's on purpose. So, yeah, you've got a decent cast of supporting legendary characters.
I'm sorry. Oh, good Lord. Minecraft in chat just said cast shock on Tiny Tim. I win. And
no, see, we already covered going to hell and Diablo, so cut that out.
I'm not gonna make it.
And Legend of Zelda would stand alone, because stand alone as its own set.
Oh,
right.
Well,
other stuff you might be able to bring in with a Smash Brothers release.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna say I was gonna say, and look, as long as we're entertaining the idea of Nintendo even releasing its grip on any of this stuff, something like a Captain N kind of thing, where like, and you said Smash Brothers right before I said Captain N, so I'm like, oh yeah, there was another crossover for Nintendo, wasn't there? But I'm taking it back, man. I'm taking it back to the Zapper. So,
Oh, God bless us. Ah!
I mean,
I'm sorry, I can't get over that. I'm sorry.
well, how about God bless us, every Issachus.
But I hate you.
I know you do.
I mega hate you.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it. I still loved the show, but I think that's because it was basically what I had. I mean, come on. Really.
Yeah,
Anybody
weirdly,
that says,
like, the old Legend of Zelda cartoon holds up surprisingly well, but Captain N, man, I don't know. It's not
No.
streaming anywhere that I've found, so I haven't been able to revisit it.
I don't think that it was great, but I thought it was great at the time because again, anybody that said they hated it back in the day, I feel like is maybe trying to be smarter than they were because you had so few choices back then.
Yeah, dude.
So-
Even though they were crappy renditions of Nintendo characters, it was a cartoon full of Nintendo characters. It was
Yes.
awesome.
Even if I really did kind of hate what they did to Simon, and I know that's everybody says that. I didn't feel right about that, but I still watched as much as I could. So
Oh God, I always wanted a belt buckle that was a Nintendo controller,
well, of course you would.
but even if it didn't have powers, like
Oh.
making me jump high or pause time or whatever.
Yeah, I probably would have bought that too.
But yeah, like going back to Zelda, like all of the world building is already done for you. You
Yeah.
could just make a creature that does a thing and name it Octorok, and I personally would lose my mind. I'm just saying.
Is there a way? So much of Zelda, and I know this isn't necessarily true of some of of every game, but so much of it is you break it down into overworld exploration and dungeons. How would you concept dungeons in a Magic set? I feel like there's some potential here.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how the Zendikar settings were able to get the adventure world feel without going out of their way to say, oh, you're exploring a dungeon. They could just put the themes on the cards and do it with art and naming.
Yeah.
That one got wrapped up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What about? Oh God, I thought of the Alien series. I don't know that everything translates to Magic.
That could be a sick dual decks. Like Aliens versus Marines. Holy
Aliens
crap.
versus Marines. Oh, dude. Now I think you have something there. Or a what was the format with the tokens and you would just try to survive? Like this, was it Swarm? Horde, but like Horde, but it's all aliens, like versus Marines, where or scientists, where you're just trying to, like, the odds are stacked overwhelmingly against you. Less of a
Horde would make for an interesting one. And I'm looking at Mega Man and going, that would actually be kind of interesting because you could have like little bitty creatures, and then occasionally a robot master would show up, and you'd have to have enough like of your forces and Mega Man or whatnot in order to defeat them.
Oh, and before you win, you'd have to fight all the bosses one at a time. Why did the old Mega Man games do that? Did they just hate us?
Mega Man X didn't do much better. You still had to go through all the bosses again.
I always thought it was just to basically give you a chance to figure out the weaknesses that you didn't, because inevitably at the beginning of the game you had to fight at least one or two without the weakness weapons. So I always thought it was a chance to be like, hey, now you can wail on these guys. Didn't really ever bother me except for Flash Man, because I hate that guy. It's not fair. He can freeze you. That's not cool, man. It's not cool.
Dick move, bruh. Random Keho said Assassin's Creed. Now that could be a full Magic set.
I've never played one. I don't live under a rock. Of course, I've heard of it. And I'm familiar with the concept, but I've never actually played a game, so I don't really know anything about the lore. You kill people, right? Like, that's the whole point.
And see, I feel like Assassin's Creed would be a good one if you were to have the Assassin format. Like, that would need to be like a sanctioned event where, again, you're given this. You're given, pass out the cards. Everyone gets a special card with a symbol, and then you're given one face down that is, the copy of that symbol. And so, yeah. And then you could. I don't want to bring up Planechase a lot, but the thing is Assassin's Creed was one of the things you got to go to these places and see all these really big, intricate locations. Like in Egypt, you go to Alexandria. You could go to Thebes. You could go to Memphis. You could go to the Greek cities that are being built on the Delta. And so having some of those there as your locations, I don't know. I feel like there could be a format where, okay, you play this and then play another one on another turn, or you roll a dice and a second one gets put up, and like having a variation on Planechase where all of the locations come up, and when they're there, effects, like you can have stacking effects that occur, maybe. I don't know.
I get the feeling that the next time we get together, I definitely need to bring Planechase just for Dirk's sake.
Right?
It's just, I feel like with a lot of these games, the locations are kind of cool. They're kind of part of what the game is, or the lore. Like with Lord of the Rings, there are so many iconic locations. With Assassin's Creed, there are tons of iconic locations you go to that it's sort of like how can you include them in there unless you're going to have like a plains. You're going to have lots of plains that are that place. The British Museum, when you're here, you get to, it'll sort of be like a grand coliseum. You get to tap this for whatever color you want, sort of thing.
I get the feeling Dirk has really pigeonholed himself into the Planechase thing for locations.
Well, it's either that or they would need to be lots of land varieties.
But just
art on cards.
I mean, just because something depicts lands or different locations doesn't mean you have to fit everything into the game. I think I appreciate what you're going for, and there's no wrong answer for this, but I think you're getting so caught up in trying to make sure you encapsulate everything about that series or franchise or whatever, that you're gonna keep coming back to using planes as locations. So I also
Planechase, guys.
I also really enjoy Planechase, and it's definitely not something you can, at least right now, do on Arena. So hey, Wizards, make it happen.
I'm trying to think of something bigger. What about like Konami?
I was just looking at Alucard,
like the Contra guys.
Yeah, just instead of like Castlevania as a Magic set, what if you branch out even further and just do Konami properties? Konami licensed everything they own for this Magic set.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, the first thing that comes to for me is the NES Batman game when you say Konami, and that's, Batman, but
That
I like
wasn't
that game.
Konami.
Who was that?
Sunsoft.
Okay, who made
No, I
Act
don't know
Racer?
how I know that. Shut up.
Who made Act Racer?
Who? I have no idea who made Act
Good
Razor.
question.
Act Razor
Okay.
was by Enix.
Okay, then what did Konami make? Because I'm
Silent
running out.
Hill, Contra,
never-
Metal Gear,
Yep.
Wow.
Castlevania, Bomberman.
Okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, really?
Well,
Oh,
they made the games. They don't
made
have the
the-
license for the actual thing.
yeah.
Oh, the Adventure Island franchise. Anybody remember those?
No.
Apparently they own those. I don't know how, because that was Hudson Soft, I thought. Unless Konami bought Hudson Soft, which they probably did.
Only thing you've mentioned that I've played is Castlevania. I haven't played any of the others.
Gradius.
Nope.
Bloody Roar. Remember Bloody Roar?
No.
It was a fighting game where the characters could all werewolf out, but not just wolves.
Oh, what about Altered Beast?
Ultra Beast was Sega. Oh, a Sega franchise thing would be cool too.
Yeah. I guess I just don't know enough about Konami to really have any input on them. Except for, yay, Castlevania. But
What does Sega own? Virtual Fighter, Vector Man, Super Monkey Ball, Streets of Rage, Sonic, of course, Shinobi, Seaman, Rez. Oh, Mike would lose his mind.
Wow.
Jet Set Radio or Jet Grind Radio, depending on where you're from. Gunstar Heroes, Golden Axe, Eternal Champions, Echo the Dolphin, freaking Daytona USA. Well, maybe not that one. Altered Beast, Alex Kidd, Bayonetta. Sega owns the Bayonetta franchise? I know Platinum makes the games, but apparently... Sega publishes the games. Okay, I did not know that.
Me neither.
Panzer Dragoon.
Phantasy Star? But like, branching out and saying, okay, video game company, blam, all of their stuff would be so awesome.
Mhm.
Because then you'd get stuff like, the Contra guys with a spread gun equipped, facing off against Dracula. Wow. Which is sort of like the Nintendo thing that we said earlier. And I intentionally didn't say Capcom because, good lord. They've already got a whole game where they fight against Marvel characters with all of their entire stuff. So, maybe not that one. I'm trying to think of things that are wide enough to be full sets like Lord of the Rings. And when I said earlier that Assassin's Creed could be, I'm not so sure about that in hindsight.
Yeah, maybe not.
I mean, there've been what, like 15 games or something, but they're all fairly narrow.
Well, you could get into like the Harry Potter series potentially, or the Rick Riordan series.
I would say the problem with Harry Potter is that it's owned by a hateful bigot, so hopefully let's not do that.
Well,
But if you separate the artist from...
You can't. She still owns everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
they would not let that happen.
Yeah.
She pretty much said you can't do that with this ride. Cannot do that because it would mess with the story. Like they rewrote the Green God's Escape. They had to rewrite it because she didn't want it that way.
Wow. And then she hates trans people. Can we
when I
yeet
think
her
about
into the
other-
sun?
Yeah, you try to think about other like long running series of books and things like that just have to have enough interesting and different things happening in them. It's like, yeah, there's like a zillion Dune books, but how many different interesting cards could he actually make out of something like that? A Redwall, that'd be cool.
Oh, did you
Is that
see
the-
they're doing
is
a
that the mouth
Redwall
thing?
animated series?
I did not see that.
I think, was it Netflix that got the rights to that? Chat, help me out here. Redwall animated series. Oh, there already was one back in the day. Whoa. That ran for 3 seasons. What?
Weird.
But yeah, Netflix adapting Redwall books into movies and TV series. They just got the rights to all of it. They like the entire Redwall series.
That's
So
cool.
that'll be cool. Because Netflix's animated stuff is awesome.
One thing that'll always, and even if I'm remembering this right, I don't know if I am. One thing that'll always confuse me and haunt me about Redwall is that I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering this right, that Clooney and his crew, when they show up, they're like on a cart being pulled by a horse that's just
Yeah.
running loose out of its mind. And I'm like, okay, there's a horse pulling a cart? Who built the cart? Who attached the cart to the horse? Where did they come from with this horse pulling a cart? It's like, what is this? Does this imply this entire other part of this world that we never see ever in all of those books? And it's just like, that'll just weird me out forever.
Yeah, I mean, the Redwall Abbey was a human-sized building. At least it was when I read it in my head.
I didn't get that impression
Oh.
when I was reading it in my head.
I actually started the Redwall book again, because I only own the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Sometime like Christmas 2019, I think I took it to the parents' house when I went to stay with them and read some of it, but I never actually finished it, and I never picked it back up, and it's not on the shelf. Well, where in that? Well, now I've lost a book.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why, but when I first started checking them out from the public library, I ended up reading Martin the Warrior first, which is like a Redwall.
So I've heard of Redwall. I've never actually read it.
Oh, there it is.
We were at a consignment sale last year before everything broke out, and I saw they had the original book, and I told Sam I was going to go ahead and buy it, and I thought she might enjoy it, and she just has read other things, hasn't gotten around to it. But you guys would recommend it? Those of you that have read it?
Oh yeah, me and my brother, we would just devour those things, and when we heard about a new one coming out, we'd go to the library immediately to see if they had it.
Nice. I've only read the first one, but I really loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Discord, they were talking about Game of Thrones magic, and sure, Game of Thrones is basically magic but with boobies, so why not? Like, my question was, but will there be boobies on the cards?
Yeah.
I mean, if not, then it might as well just be any other fantasy setting.
Right? Oh my God, Gothic. Gothic just said Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, sold.
I mean, no, you don't. Yeah. I mean, everything changed when Gothic Man attacked. So
Yes, everything changed when Mike attacked Dirk.
are you saying
that's every game of Magic, though?
Yeah.
Are you saying that you're the Fire Nation? Because there's 4 of us. Oh, good Lord. Okay.
No, we'll just make AJ the airbenders. That way everyone kills AJ.
Oh my God! That was dark and yet hilarious.
Spoiler alert for like episode 1.
Yeah, right? Oh man, I need to go back and finish Korra. Damn it. I never finished. I barely started season 3, which I've been informed is one of the best.
We we finished. What were we watching a while ago?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm trying to remember what we were watching a little while ago. And we were debating what to watch as a family next, and we've actually been rewatching Avatar with the thought of heading through Korra because we've seen seasons 1 through 3 of Korra. So
Excuse me.
we are a little ways into season 2 of Avatar. So topical.
But like that one, that's rich
Yeah.
and could easily
Full,
carry its own set.
fully fleshed out world, mechanics that translate pretty well to magic because bending, different cultures.
Yeah, like that's what magic sets are. They're different factions that all have different abilities. Huh.
And have conflict with one another. Yeah.
Yeah, that Gothic, well done. Some anime shows would work too. Probably.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, we could
I
probably go on about that forever.
I
Yeah,
mean,
someone.
first of all, a lot of them have magic just as a concept or as a plot device, but even ones that don't, you still have combat, special abilities. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
JoJo's Bizarre Magic Set.
Studio Ghibli.
Someone could be like, "Was that a JoJo reference?" And I'd be like, "I don't know what you're talking about," because I don't know what they're talking about. But
One Punch Man.
One Punch Man is another one that I could see is not like a full set, but is some kind of other kind of product.
Yeah.
Or you could
Where
just
you just
pile stuff all together. Like there was old card game back in the day where like the whole point of it was just several different anime properties mixed together.
What was that
It was
called?
called Anime Him.
That's the one. Yeah.
And I think the first set was like 4 different properties. It was Tenchi Muyo and Ranma One Half and Bubblegum Crisis and something else, some fantasy thing.
Dear Lord.
And I know they added Dragon Ball Z and some Sailor Moon stuff later. But
Sailor Moon.
Sailor.
I want the
Transformation
tuxedo
sequences.
mask card that actually doesn't do anything. My
What's
work
the
here is
dark-
done, but you didn't do anything.
What is the darkest anime you can think of? Because there's some dark ones out there.
That is
but I'm
not
curious.
a safe question to ask, just out loud.
Okay.
No, I mean, I didn't watch many of them. Ninja Scroll was pretty dark and depressing. It was super violent.
Hadn't heard of that one.
Was it Samurai 7? I want to say something of that sort. Was like the 7 Samurai or something. Was very gory.
Not too much. I really enjoyed that. Thomas and I didn't finish watching it. He has the DVD set, but we never finished watching it.
I guess
Bad at
I'm
this game.
just not that cultured because my answer to the question would have been Akira because
Yeah.
it gets kind of dark and messed up. So
Mm.
Yeah, Akira is child's play compared to lots of other stuff. Oh dear God!
Like I would almost say the Netflix Castlevania is pretty dark.
I never did finish the last season of that because
And then Zeus, the new one that's on Netflix, like Zeus or Hero of Olympus or Zeus of Olympus, something of that sort.
oh, dude, you said Netflix, and we're talking about animation. I don't know that's technically anime, but Voltron, because then you can build a Voltron deck, like with a Voltron deck.
Chat said, "What if they made card sets for the popular anime series Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh?"
Wow, they could make a Yu-Gi-Oh set where not every card is like a wall of dense text. Although they wouldn't work it all the same way, would they? I
Earlier,
don't.
way earlier in the chat, Squee said something like, "Oh, what if they got the rights to make Magic the Gathering cards? We could have creatures and instants and sorceries and everything."
It's like, yo, dog.
I heard you like some magic, so
I told him that wouldn't happen, and Gothic just said the thing that I was gonna say after that. Yeah, we could totally have a full set of He-Man and She-Ra as properties.
Duck Hunt.
I don't buy Magic cards anymore, and I would buy He-Man and She. Oh God, I think we've just learned why they're doing this. Although they said it outright in the.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's to sell cards.
Yes,
so
to get people to come play
It's-
Magic, and maybe they'll get hooked.
It's not like I'm not debating whether or not that's good or bad, but it's not insidious when it's on the packaging.
Yeah, when you're doing that, this is a way to encourage people to get into the game so they can play with their friends. If you're printing things that aren't going to be standard legal, this isn't a way to. This is not going to be an effective way to get people into like standard play. If you're giving non-standard cards to get excited about.
Yeah, but it could be that they'll like the game system that underlies the set dressing enough to maybe start playing it.
Yeah.
Because Arena is right there. It's right there.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. That's the first or second step for many people nowadays.
Can we go back to Lord of the Rings for just a second?
Sure.
I want you all to think about this very seriously. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the Rings characters and settings and creatures and all of that done by Magic artists.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had that thought earlier, but
That sounds amazing. Because Magic's art, for all the problems that I have had with Magic over the last few years, the art is not one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I when we were talking, Mike mentioned the Balrog. I was thinking, sweet, because I would love to see an artist take that on, and then, needless to say, I'm sure whatever they made would be great. And then I'm thinking about like the text list foil version, and I'm just like, yes. I don't care if it's a 1/1 that does nothing, which, by the way, would be a disservice. I would still run a deck full of them. I'd have like 6 copies. I don't even care. Be like, behold.
Yeah.
You shall not pass is definitely a counter spell. I mean, just full stop.
Or would it be a removal spell?
It's almost like a trap.
Or would it be a trap? And that just that just popped into my head all of a sudden. It was Magic artists doing Lord of the Rings characters, and I had to interrupt and vocalize it because holy crap. Like, I never really liked the art on the old Middle Earth card game. Like, the style of that. Not the one that was all images from the movies.
Yeah,
obviously.
you're talking about the Iron Crown Enterprises game.
Sure. I don't know. All I know is the one that was called Middle Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Wasn't it called Middle Earth?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Okay.
ICE was published that game before the Tolkien whatever took the license away and went to Decipher to make the movies are about to come out.
Gotcha. But yeah, that would. I never liked the art on that. Not really. It was fine, but it didn't like make me go ooh like Magic set art does.
Yeah, that was more of the traditional, like, I would say even like 70s and 80s style high fantasy art that you'd see on the cover of books and stuff. Like that you see on your Dragonlance novels or whatever.
Exactly. Like this was Gandalf. Well, hang on. Open image in new tab. Like this was Gandalf. Eh. Just doesn't.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, even though I can't see it because
It just doesn't do anything for me. And like
In
this
Discord,
was.
it looks an awful lot like Mr. Potato Head.
Oh Lord! Like this was Frodo. It's just a picture of a halfling. This is our grand hero, and this is what we get, and it just kind of bothered me.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I'm super excited to see what they do here. Like, okay, hang on. There was one piece of art that I always loved, and it was the Will of Sauron. That is super cool. And here, since I figure you guys aren't looking at the stream, that the Will of Sauron always got me.
Yeah, that's
That's so awesome. But by and large, they were boring. So yeah, I'm now suddenly excited to see the art for that. Like a lot. Like a lot. In other words, it's all right.
All right. Well, I think we've basically covered everything. I mean, obviously not everything. There will always be more stuff to cover. That's kind of the point of this, is that it's just, this is not an exhaustive list. This just opens up the potential for so much stuff. So I still remain optimistic. I just hope that it doesn't become so ubiquitous that we're just like, ugh. But as long as it's done well and the art is amazing, then okay, cool.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people were I never actually finished this thought earlier because we dove into talking about examples, but a lot of people were really pissy about this, saying that it
What a
doesn't.
surprise.
Well, how does Warhammer 40K feel like Magic? And like, okay, but the whole thing about
doesn't
Magic.
feel like Magic.
Do
Yeah.
what?
I said it's not supposed to feel like Magic. It's supposed to be Warhammer 40K.
Exactly. But also, like, the whole thing about Magic is it's about wizards who can jump around to different planes of existence. Everything is within Magic's scope. Which is why when they say, oh, we don't actually know if Forgotten Worlds is Magic canon or not, my thought is, what are you, high? Everything is potentially Magic canon. You can throw Jedi into Magic, and it would just be a small, I could see that, and boom, you're in. Like, like it just feels like for the people who, well, that's not real Magic. You're just a gatekeepy douchebag. Like, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Let people enjoy things.
And, to be fair, I know there was a time when I would have been right there.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
This is dumb. You're selling out.
Yeah, I would have been too, but we have grown as people since then.
Yeah. Now more interested in, fun, cool stuff versus, keeping the Magic fantasy setting pure.
Quote unquote
like,
pure.
Yeah, for what it is. I mean, no. The certain members of the creative team and certain authors have done plenty enough to screw it up over the years.
Right?
and it's fine. It's still fun. So Brian's audio is
Apparently,
not
Brian
great.
can't hear anybody. Hang up.
Yeah.
Oh, God. He can't hear me.
Yeah,
Hang
we
up
can
and
still hear the
rejoin.
tappity tap of his keyboard, though.
Poor Brian. Can you hear us now? He cannot hear us now.
Okay, now I can hear. Sorry.
Oh,
about
there
that.
he is. Okay.
All of a sudden, everything was going along fine, and then just went away. So I'm so sorry about that. I agree with everything Mike said, and and nothing that Chewie said.
This all sounds accurate. Yeah. But like a lot of people were saying stuff like, "Well, this is the beginning of the end of Magic," and the beginning of the end of Magic already happened, as far as I'm concerned. This has nothing to do with it. Like when their new business practices went into effect, like 2 years ago, and they started shifting focus to Arena, and then the pandemic happened, so that paper Magic is essentially pointless now. Like, I'm surprised that it's still going as strong as it is, but I don't think that adding properties to Magic that didn't start in Magic, I don't think that's the end of the world. I think that's just something else. So,
Well, what do you expect? People have been saying that it's been dying for how old is it now? 20, 28 years?
something? I don't even
Yeah.
know.
For 28 years. So,
Like, fun fact, there was back when I was first starting up a YouTube channel, I was considering, and I've never told this to anybody but the dorks, I was considering a video series called The Death of Magic, where we went back and looked at all of the times when Magic was going to die and explained how it died.
I remember that. I remember that idea.
me too.
And then I realized I didn't have the technology to actually do that, or the wherewithal to figure out all of those times. Like we came up with a list, and it was massive, and it still wasn't all of them. And that list has only been added to over the years, although I haven't actually added to my list. But yeah, and I'm sure for all of us that are me included, who are naysaying about Magic, Magic's not going anywhere unless something truly awful happens, and I can't imagine what that would be. Ouch. But yeah, I don't think opening it up as a game system is a bad thing. I don't
No.
I don't see how more people playing Magic could be bad. Unless you
Because
open it
it's-
up to like, all right, now we're gonna play white supremacist Magic. See, now that's bad.
I think I don't know, maybe some people have this view that sanctioned play is Magic. There's a lot that happens just at people's homes and in cafeterias and
More there, I
Oh.
would argue, than anywhere else.
yeah.
Most games of Magic, just from a number standpoint, are not played, even in the old days, at a GP. So, but it's what people can see. It's
Mhm.
what gets attention because
Yeah.
we
It's
don't
what can
have.
be measured. It's what can be measured and what can be talked about and reported on.
Yeah.
It's true.
Right now, we don't have a camera in your house yet
That you know of?
that we know of to
Wink,
to
wink.
watch your games of Magic. So
Oh, not for that, no.
Yeah. It's like, Alexa, what's Chewie got in his hand?
he has nothing.
Tag with everybody.
Is it bad that in my head the first thing Chewie has his penis in his hand was like what my brain said?
Your question is that a bad thing? The answer is yes. Just
I'm
unequivocally.
surprised you came up with it. No.
Yeah, right.
No.
I don't actually
But-
have my penis in my hand. That's just what I heard the robot lady say to Mike.
But if the question is that a bad thing, that's what you thought of, then, you know.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I meant his hand of magic cards. Oh. Oh, God. Anyway. Mike, where you going? Why are you leaving? Come back. We're not done with the game.
Oh, yes, we are.
Anyway. But yeah, if all of the horrible decisions that Wizards has made over the years hasn't killed Magic, then I don't think having a Lord of the Rings set that isn't standard legal is going to cause any major problems.
No.
Like, on the whole, it's going to make pissy people bitch about it, but that's what those people do anyway. Hi, I'm one of them. I complain about lots of things that Magic does. But
I understand a little bit of uncertainty and, like, not sure where this is going to go. But just the straight up, like, oh, this is the death of Magic or the beginning of the end. These are the same people that said that they shouldn't print Command Tower because you can't play it in
because it's legacy legal but doesn't do anything.
Right.
Like,
remember that was an actual argument. And I'm sorry. And most things are shade of gray, but I still think that's a dumb argument. Just straight up. If you don't want to play Commander, don't get the Commander decks that were the only place that you could find the Command Tower. Sorry, that's not what we're talking about today, but I still find it very dumb.
I do think Commander is better when it's not being directly supported by Magic, but that is or by Wizards, but that's an entirely different conversation too.
It is.
So, like, in that way, yeah, Command Tower shouldn't have been printed, sure, but not because it's legacy legal but can't be played in Legacy. Stop.
You can play it. You're not gonna like what happens. But you can do it.
Anyway. Well, how about we wrap this episode up then, gentlemen?
Sounds good.
So, what you got?
So, this Saturday, it sounds like I'll be running the first session of what will hopefully be multiple sessions of D&D with my daughter and at least one of the guys here, and a family member of his. So I have given into the darkness. I've always said, "Oh, D&D. I'm into some dorky stuff, but I won't go that far." Well, here we are. I'm still not into the LARPing yet, or LARPers, or I'm not trying to offend anybody listening. If you like it, it's your jam. That's fine. I have not. Is LARPing still going on with the quarantine?
Brian, get to the point.
Doing some D&D this weekend. Looking forward to it. Have you not met me? Do you not know that the rambling is like at least half of the point?
That and I couldn't see an end in sight. That's why I jumped in there.
So
Brian Kibler is a big fan of LARPing, it turns out.
Okay.
But Brian Kibler is incredibly sexy, and that's not fair.
Right. So yeah, that's all I got. I'll report back later on how bad everybody did, including me.
How many of us died?
Well, everybody. But I'll just keep killing everybody off every week. Then you get to make all the characters in the world.
Dude, spoilers.
Until you make the one I like. And no, I'm not telling you which one that is. It may or may not
I should
be.
have gone with that other class.
It may or may not be a raccoon monk. Okay.
Was that a penny arcade? I don't remember
Was-
what comic it was, but somebody was playing D&D. Oh no, it
And
was from Real Life Comics.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow,
you know Real
that
Life
takes
Comics
me
is
back.
still going?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The creator and now the main character are a trans woman now.
Well, good for them.
So
Good. I had
it's
no
a
idea that
whole
comic.
new thing now compared to what it was.
That was like one of the OG web comics. So I used to read. I didn't know it was still going on. Okay.
Yeah, but here there's a comic here from 2000. It says, "All right, guys, Dave should be here soon, but I think we can just go ahead and start without him. You guys ready?" Someone goes, "Hell yeah!" And the other character goes, "Actually, before we start, could you explain psionics to me? I'm still not entirely sure how they work." And there's a panel of them just looking at this character, and the DM goes, "A dragon eats you." And that has always been my favorite D&D joke ever. Is you piss off the DM, he goes, "A dragon eats you."
I
And
mean,
that's always how I picture Brian when he's DMing.
I'll get back to you. We'll see how many dragons eat people. They're all level 1, so if a dragon shows up at all, it's because someone pissed me off. Mike.
All right.
Next.
So for my final thought, um, I realized that apparently Sony or they had their thing today, and Final Fantasy VII Remake got some information released about it. So we knew there was going to be a push of, if you have a PlayStation 4, good job. But really, if you want to get the good stuff, you need to move to a PlayStation 5 in order to
But
get the updated graphics and everything. And they're adding a small chapter. They're adding
just for the PS5?
yeah.
Wow, that's
Just watched the video on that where they were talking about, here's all this, and if you own a PS5, you can get the Yuffie chapter. So there's going to be a chapter where Yuffie shows up and you get to play with her and do whatever stuff. And based on what it looks like, it happens concurrent with the remake story.
Cool.
So it's not that it happens after the events; it happens concurrent. Is what it
don't
looks like.
don't like 5 people in all of North America have PS5s? I thought they were like impossible to find.
They are slowly becoming more possible. There were like 3 people in the School of Movies Discord just in the last couple days that were like, "I got one!" So
The microchip drought that's been going on has affected that to a small extent as well.
Can't say that I'm really thrilled with this development, but
I mean,
Well,
it's the special edition thing, you know. Hey, we're gonna release this movie, but on Blu-ray it's got all this extra crap that you don't get on DVD. So go buy a Blu-ray player, and then buy it again on Blu-ray so you can get all this extra crap, and then shut up. That's
well, the video for it essentially alluded to, if you have PlayStation 4 files, they'll transfer up to PlayStation 5, and that's free. But if you want to again get Yuffie and all that, that would be you would have to be charged for that. But again, that's just, you'd have to upgrade to another system, and then you'd have to pay a small amount in order to transfer up to get the chapter. It's just stuff like that.
yeah, it's terrible,
But it's
but it's the
news.
way things work these days, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had a feeling that the PlayStation 4 is at the end of its life cycle. So PlayStation 5 is where everything is slowly transferring to. But I'm willing to wait out a little bit for it to eventually get onto PC. I'll wait. I've got plenty of games that I need to get through before I get to Final
Right?
Fantasy VII Remake. Plus, I don't think the exclusivity deal comes up. Usually it's about a year, and a full year would be April, I think, if I remember correctly when I got mine. I want to say it was April. So that means it's like 2 months away before the exclusivity deal comes up.
I wonder
then-
if they can even mention upcoming versions on other systems until after the exclusivity deal is up.
I'm pretty sure they can't, yeah.
So if there was one that was coming out soon, they couldn't be like, hey, in a couple months, you can get it on PC, because that probably is some sort of contract violation.
Yeah. Because I think in the past when they've shifted to PC, which has happened, it's happened within like a little over a year after the game came out on the Sony station, whatever it was at the time, or PlayStation. It was a little over a year. It's like a year and maybe like 2 months or so, and then the PC version would come out. But yeah, they've got a 1 year exclusivity deal, so it's not coming out until after April. That just doesn't, it's not going to happen because of that. So that means maybe this summer the PS or PC version will come out.
That would be neat.
I'd buy it.
Honestly, I
gotta
probably would too.
gotta take care, dogs. I will talk to you guys later. Everybody have a great night.
Night, B.
Too.
All right.
Good night.
Yep, I've got to go to work, so I also have to bounce.
Dude, it's awful late for you to be going to work.
Well, I got to go to bed so I can make it to work. That's
That makes more
the
sense.
key part. So, all right, guys. Well, you all have a wonderful night. Everyone be safe.
Night, Zerg.
All right.
Well, what you got, Mike? Everyone else left us. Those bastards.
Yeah. Someone had put in the Discord chat, people were talking about, what other things they'd like to see for the universes beyond. They mentioned the old Mythos card game.
Was that you or Brian that bought up all of that?
It was me. I got most of it when Cosmic Crack House was having their get all this crap out of here sale.
Yeah, I told that story in the Discord.
Yeah. There was some other guy there who was buying them up too. But I got most of them. But yeah, it's like, the old Lovecraft mythos characters and stuff. It's like not just him, but also Robert W. Chambers and also some Robert E. Howard. Other authors from the period, but
August Derleth.
August Derleth, that's right. And more recently people like Brian Lumley and S.T. Joshi. But yeah, that'd be neat to see. I know people would have issues with Lovecraft Association, just a weird, xenophobic, racist guy. But he wasn't the only one writing stuff like that.
And also, he doesn't still own any of that stuff because he's dead.
Oh no, I think it started out as public domain. It's been public domain for a long, long time. Anyone could publish any of his stories whenever they want.
Well, that's neat.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that would be something that's neat to see. I still have all those cards. I still have several decks built.
Nice.
I've been interested in trying to sit down and play a game with someone to see if it still feels like it's any good. I know the times we tried, part of the problem was because I had just built a bunch of crummy decks that didn't work very well. Partly because I didn't know what I was doing, and partly because AJ had taken a bunch of the good ones for the deck that he built.
That sounds like AJ, yeah.
Yeah, so like a bunch of stuff was like concentrated in that one deck, and the others didn't have as much to choose from. Um, but yeah, I'm a little disappointed that I won't be able to join on the first D&D session, but something came up, and the kids will get to play, so that'll be good. Brian said he'll do like a little episode 0 thing for them, for them to have fun with, and then I'll join up on the next one.
Yeah, there's no sense in letting your adult real life nonsense get in the way of the kids having fun.
Yeah, no. They should be able to play Dungeons and Dragons.
This is also why I have mostly stopped doing multiplayer stuff on stream, though. Is because
it's a pain to get people
organizing other people's schedules to work with mine is such a pain in the ass that it's not worth it. We don't even do the Friday Night Murder of Among Us anymore because not enough people would show up. And so...
Yep.
It was fun while it lasted, though.
It was. I enjoyed watching the ones that you'd post a video up later. I watched live a couple times.
Yeah. Oof. But yeah. So what else you got?
That's it for now.
Fair enough. Yawn? Sorry. Brian and Dirk get to just go to bed. I gotta stay on the stupid show. Wait. For me, I don't know. I have suddenly become able to stream some older games, possibly, at some point. But first I have to finish Doom. Gotta do the franchise run of Doom. We're starting Doom 2 as soon as I get around to that. Because we finally finished Ultimate Doom. And the last chapter of Ultimate Doom was such a bastard. Oh my god, Mike.
Oh, yeah?
I forget, did you ever play Doom?
Yeah, but only like only the free episode.
Oh, okay. I never even played that, so... But, like, original Doom had the freeware version that everyone played, or shareware, rather, that everyone played, and then there were 2 more chapters after that that got progressively harder, and the levels got more complicated, and, there were more enemies, and whatnot. But then Ultimate Doom, which came out after Doom 2, added a 4th chapter, which is just unfair. Like, I was warned, it's unfair, and I went, it can't be that bad. It's that bad. It's like the 2nd or 3rd level spawns you in this big-ass room where there's just this god-awful amount of things. Shotgun zombies and imps and cacodemons and pinkies. And you're up high, and you have to run across gaps to get to switches to open doors to get over there, where it's also swarming with enemies. But if you miss the jump, you land on some lava that, hurts you. And freaking Barons of Hell just come out like they're normal enemies. And I'm like, ah! Like, it was awful. The first time 2 Barons just walked out of a room like they were imps, I think I swore loudly. Like,
I believe it.
But yeah, but soon I'll be starting Doom 2, which adds in the chain gun guy and the ones that resurrect enemies. Oh god, I hated those things. Because I did play some Doom 2 back in the day. And it adds... Oh, the smaller spider... Because there's the big spider demon that's at the end of Doom 1. But it has the smaller ones that are later game normal enemies. And I want to say the Pain Elemental, the thing that shoots out lost souls? The big brown looking thing that looks like a cacodemon but made out of Play-Doh? Like, it added more enemies, is what I'm saying. And after that, I'll make the decision of whether or not I want to do Final Doom or go into Doom 64. I think Final Doom is something else. It's like a fan game that got sanctioned, essentially. So I don't know if I'll do that or not. But Doom 64 is a separate game, and then I get to finally, after all these years, find out what's up with Doom 3. Which is a completely different animal.
Yeah.
So that's all going to be fun. But in the meantime, I'm working on turning each chapter into another highlight reel. I got through the first edit of the, I think, 2.5 or 3 hours of episode 2. But I haven't gone back to it since because I've been posting odds and ends. Wow. And I have to let it marinate for a few days before I go back to it.
Yeah.
But I'll be working on turning that into a highlight reel just like I did for the first one. Which I'm still very proud of. Yeah. Did you watch it yet, Mike? Dang it, man.
Which one?
The Doom highlight reel.
No.
Dang it, man. Gotta do that for me. It's so good. Don't do it for me, Mike. Do it for yourself. But anyway, and also I have to finish King of Cards. I think there's one stream left. There might be like one stream and a piece of a stream left. I'm not entirely sure. But once I do that, then those videos will go up on the YouTube channel. Also, Mike, I played Slay the Spire again one day last week.
Really?
And I did a thing.
What did you do?
I beat the heart for the first time ever.
Oh.
I had
So it's like an actual fight?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a thing that they added after I stopped playing the first time where you have to collect 3 different keys as you go. There's an elite that's harder than usual that has a key. You can get a key from a chest, but you have to take the key instead of the relic that's in there. And you get the third key at a rest site, or a campsite that you get by, instead of resting or crafting, you recall the key. And once you get all 3, then after you beat the boss at the top of level 3, you fight the heart. And the heart is a bastard. I have yet to beat the heart, but then I did! I had a really awesome deck that was full of anger.
Yeah.
The card, which costs 0, does an attack of some amount of damage, and then a copy of it goes into your discard pile. And it was that, and Rage, which says whenever you play an attack card, you get some amount of block.
Oh, okay.
And then a bunch of cycling cards that just drew cards and added strength. And so eventually it was a handful of anger with Rage, so I'd get blocked so I wouldn't die, and just keep drawing cards. I had a very small deck, but because anger doubles every time you play it, it just kept going and going, and it was ridiculous. It was so awesome. I wasn't recording, but I downloaded the stream, so I'm thinking of turning that into a YouTube video too.
That's a good idea.
Because it was so good. But anyway, that's what I got going on. I'm very excited to get back to the franchise run, though, since it's a thing I made up and have played through one game. Because it's hard. Mike, it's hard. I think I know what my next franchise run's going to be, too.
What's that?
I'm thinking Halo.
Huh.
Because I have the Master Chief Collection.
Uh-huh.
So once I finish the Doom games, those Halo games are just right there on my computer looking at me like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, hey, I've never played you. But anyway, that's for the future. But we should stop now. Maybe they should make a Doom Commander product for Magic. Wow. But anyway, we're going to stop now. So I would like to remind you, you can go to patreon.com/themanapool and sign up to become a lifeguard, which gets you the odds and ends. Hey, I'm posting odds and ends again. I'm up to June, like the end of June. And it's depressing listening to us in the past think things were bad then. That's why it's taken me so long to get to them, because I have to be in a very concrete and positive mindset to be able to listen to past us, because it's really a bummer. Like, for me personally, it's got good stuff in it. Like, we talk about other things and complain about life and whatever, but some of it's also a bummer. This is a great pitch. Hey, listen to us be depressed a year ago. Wait. But anyway, you also can get the sponsorship shout out. You get all the YouTube videos early, all that good stuff. So I would like to thank our mythic lifeguards in whatever order this is. Al, Kim Ho, Scuzzo, John Parker, Jake Jansons, Mike. Hey, Mike. Oh no, I scrolled. Team Uhillis, how are you? PJ McMullen, The Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine, Jason Kaus, Andrew Hunt, Aleph Cat, Cody Buckowing, Casey, Jeff Spencer, Gothic Man, Jason Doan, Mr. Dr. Lewis, Connor Kennedy, and ALK Alters. Yay. And to all of our lifeguards at every tier. Thank you so much. But with that, yeah, we'll be done with the Manapool number 614. Yeah, it seems good. Thank you all so very much for joining us, and go play a game related to some other property that you really like. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Final thought, underwear.